What's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make yet another YouTuber statue. We're on a roll. This time, I'll be showing you how to make Vikstarr. If you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You'll need some cyan stained clay. Also, grab blue stained clay and some light blue. Also, grab light grey stained clay. Then, grab yourself some black wool, some dark blue wool, then red, light blue, then finally grab yourself some white wool. And believe it or not, we're going to need a few more colours later on, but for now, all you're going to need is those colours that we have right there. So once you have those, and once you've figured out what you want to make them, I'll be making them right here. You're going to now want to kick off your Vikstarr statue with a row of 8 cyan stained clay in a row on the floor. That's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. And once you have your row of 8 cyan stained clay, this is what you want to do for row number 2. Do another row of cyan stained clay, just directly on top of that first initial row. Easy as that. Once you have your 2 rows of cyan stained clay, you then want to do 4 rows of blue stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you have your 4 rows of blue stained clay, for the next row going from left to right, you want to do 1 blue stained clay, 2 light blue clay, 2 blue clay, 2 light blue clay, 1 blue clay. For the next 5 rows, you now want to do 5 solid rows of blue stained clay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we just have to fill those in. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like that. Once you have your 5 rows of blue clay, you then want to do 2 solid rows of dark blue wool. So that's 1 and 2. Once you've got your 2 rows of dark blue, for the next row, do 2 black wool in the 2 center spots of the row, and then do dark blue everywhere else, just like that. For the next row, going from left to right, do 2 dark blue, 1 black, 1 light blue, 1 red, 1 black, 2 dark blue. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 dark blue, 1 black, 2 light blue, 2 red, 1 black, 1 dark blue. For the next 2 rows, do 1 black, then 3 light blue, 3 red, 1 black. And as I said, that's for 2 rows, so once you've got that first row taken care of, do the exact same thing to the row directly above it to give you this. Once you've done that, you then, for the next row going from left to right, want to do 1 dark blue, 1 black, 2 light blue, 2 red, 1 black, 1 dark blue. For the next row, again, going from left to right, you want to do 2 dark blue, 1 black, 1 light blue, 1 red, 1 black, 2 dark blue. For the next row, do 2 black wool in the 2 center spots of the row, and then do dark blue everywhere else. For the next row, do 2 light grey stained clay in the 2 center spots of the row, and then do dark blue wool everywhere else. For the next row, do 4 light grey stained clay in the 4 center spots of the row, and then do dark blue everywhere else to give you the front of your statue. And we've just hit the top of the torso right there. So once you've reached this point right here, once you have exactly what you can see on your screen right now in your very own world, we can now move on to the next bit. So we now have the fun of giving Vikstarr arms. I know, this is everybody's favorite bit. This is my least favorite bit. So moving on, come all the way over to the right hand side of your statue and come all the way down to the first row of the torso. Incidentally, this is the first row that we started placing dark blue on. Once you've located this row, and as a matter of fact, this dark blue block that we have highlighted right here, from this block you want to do a row of 4 light grey stained clay coming out from the right hand side of your statue. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And once you have this first initial row of light grey stained clay, you then want to add 7 additional rows on top of this first row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we just have to fill those in. Just count them out and fill them in. And there you go. So in total you want to have 8 rows of light grey stained clay. 1 plus 7, 8. Once you've done that, all you want to do to completely finish the rest of the arm is just fill all of the rest of the rows in with dark blue wool. So just leading all the way up to the top of the torso, add 4 rows of dark blue wool and you'll be good. And of course, once you've done that on one side of your statue, you now want to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So coming over to the opposite side here, starting with this first dark blue wool, go left of it with your light grey stained clay by 4 to start us off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then add your 7 rows of clay on top of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just fill in all of those rows that we've just marked out. And of course 1 plus 7, you want to have 8 rows of light grey stained clay. Then you want to fill the rest of the arm in with dark blue wool to give you something which should in total, legs, torso and arms all complete, that should look a little bit like this. And that is the entire front of your Vikstarr statue. So once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the rest of it. So once you've got that done, come all the way around to the back of your statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take each end block of the bottom row of the bottom of your statue and extend each one of those end blocks of the bottoms of the feet out of the back of the statue, each by 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, just like that. And you also want to connect each one of those third blocks together to give you a U shape, like this. Once you've formed your U shape, we're now going to build up the entire back of our Vikstarr statue on top of these 8 back blocks that we have right here, very much how we just built up the entire front of our statue. Let's get to it. So, on top of this back row of our statue, stack 2 additional rows of cyan stained clay. So that would be 1 and 2 to give us 3 rows in total. Once you've done that, you then want to do 3 rows of blue stained clay. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Once you've done those 3 rows, do 2 rows of light blue stained clay. So that's 1 and 2 that we have marked out right there, and 1 and 2. Once you've done those 2 rows, do 3 more rows of blue stained clay. That'll be 1, 2, and 3, and now we just have to fill these in once again. So 2 and 3. Now for the final row of the back of the legs, place a single light blue clay on the ends of your row, and then place blue stained clay everywhere else in between, just like that. Once you've done that, you then want to do a row of dark blue wool. Just an entire row of dark blue wool. For the next row, do 2 black wool in the 2 center spots of the row and then do dark blue everywhere else. For the next row, going from left to right, do 2 dark blue, 1 black, 2 white wool, 1 black, 2 dark blue. For the next row, do 1 blue, 1 black, 4 white, 1 black, 1 blue. For the next row, do 4 white wool in the 4 center spots of the row and then do black wool everywhere else. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 2 white, 2 black, 2 white, 1 black. For the next 4 rows, do this sequence of blocks going from left to right. Do 1 black, 1 white, 1 black, 2 dark blue, 1 black, 1 white, 1 black. And as I said, you want to have that for 4 rows, so this will be the second, third, and fourth. And now we've just got to apply all of those colors. So that's all of the black, this is all of the white, and this will be all of the dark blue, just like that, to give us a V shape. Once you've done that, for the next row, do 2 dark blue in the 2 center spots of the row, and then do black wool everywhere else. And to finish off this part of the back, just do an entire row of dark blue wool. So what you want to end up with in total is something that should look a little bit like this. Nice and simple. Once you've got that V taken care of, now we can move on to the backs of the arms, which are equally as easy as the front. So, for the back of the arms, I would recommend looking to the front of your statue and quite simply copying the front of the arms into the equivalent positions on the back of your statue. So just look directly forward at where you place the front of the arms on the front of your statue and do the exact same thing for the backs of the arms. So just on these equivalent blocks on the back of your statue, just place block for block what you did on the front of your statue. I hope that makes sense to you. It should. I hope so. So what you essentially want to end up with is something that should look in total with the arms a little bit like this. And once you've reached this point right here, we now have the fun of doing the sides of the statue. So once you've reached this point right here, come all the way over to this side of your statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. The way that we're going to do this, first of all, I'm going to be doing a sequence of blocks on top of this left block that we have right here going up. Then I'll do the same thing for the right. So on top of this left block, this is the sequence of blocks that you want to do. Do 2 cyan stained clay, followed by 2 blue clay, followed by 6 light blue clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by a single blue stained clay. That's the left row. For the right row, it's a slight bit easier. On top of this right hand block, do a cyan stained clay, then do 8 blue stained clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then do 2 light blue clay to give you something which should look a little bit like this. And those are the only complicated rows of the sides, if you want to call that complicated. Once you've got that taken care of, you can now move on to the arm, which is really simple. For the arms, you basically, after you've filled in the bottom of the arm here with your light grey stained clay, you then basically just want to colour match. So whatever colours you have on the front and the back of your statue, you just want to fill that little middle section in there with whatever colours you have on the front and the back. So where you have dark blue, place dark blue. Where you have, I've forgotten the name of the clay, light grey stained clay, place that there. So at the top of the shoulder, exact same principle, just fill in 3 rows of dark blue wool just coming in from the side towards the center of the statue. You can do more than 3, but don't do less than 3, otherwise you'll end up with holes. So what you want to end up with in total is something that should look a little bit like this. Fairly simple. Once you've got that taken care of on one side, you guys know what I'm going to say. You want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So coming to this opposite side, guess what? Opposite side is easier. Why, you might be asking yourselves? Look forward. What can you do? You can look directly forward and you can copy exactly what you've just done on that opposite side of your statue. You don't need any instructions whatsoever. You can just copy exactly what you did on that side of the statue onto this side of your statue. And those are the legs already done. They're the only bits which require a little tiny bit of working out, and now all we have to do are the arms once again, which is of course just a colour matching pursuit. So I'm just doing my quickest work, and there we go. This is the second side of the statue, 100% fully completed, and again, it should look 100% identical to the side that we just did. So once you've reached this point right here, guess what? We now have the fun of doing Vikstar's head. So once you've reached this point right here, come all the way to the front of your statue and come all the way up to the top of the torso. Once you've found the top of your torso, you want to place a row of 8 light grey stained clay on top of the top row of your torso, just like that. Once you've got that first initial row of light grey clay, you then want to do 2 additional rows of light grey clay directly in front of that first row, like this. And this most outward row, this one right here, this is actually going to be the first row of Vikstar's face. However, we need a couple of colours if we're going to continue. So, 2 colours that we no longer need. We don't really need light blue stained clay or blue stained clay anymore. What you now want to grab is my favorite material ever, black stained clay, and you also want to grab an eye color. I couldn't really determine what color best matched his eyes, but I would say it's probably either brown wool, or it's either brown stained clay, or possibly even grey stained clay. That's kind of up to you. I'm going to be using brown stained clay, but again, it's your choice. Sometimes even my pal hardened clay kind of looks like it. I tried a couple of different options. Once you've grabbed those two colours, the black stained clay and whatever colour you want to use for the eye, this is what you want to do next. So knock out these 4 middle blocks of this most outward row that you've just placed and replace them with black stained clay. That's the bottom of the goatee. Once you've done that, for the second row building up on top, starting from the left hand side, do 2 light grey clay, 1 black clay, 2 light grey, 1 black clay, 2 light grey. For the next row, do 2 black clay in the 2 center spots of the row, and then do light grey clay everywhere else. For the next 2 rows, do this sequence of blocks. Do 1 light grey clay, 1 white wool, 1 brown clay, 2 light clay, 1 brown clay, 1 white wool, 1 light clay. And of course you want to do that for the next row as well. So once you've got that first row knocked out, do the exact same thing to this next row, like so. For the next row, place a single black stained clay on the ends of your row, and then light grey clay everywhere else. For the final 2 rows of the face, just stack 2 solid rows of black stained clay, and what you want to end up with is something that should look a little bit like this. And if I do say so myself, that's looking pretty nice. I really do love the clay. Absolutely fantastic. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the rest of the head. So come all the way around to the back of your head. Take out your light grey clay, and starting from this first initial row of light grey clay that we placed at the top of the torso, extend this back until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows. So that'd be the first row overhanging, and that will be the second row overhanging. And what it wants to look like is a little bit like this, just to show you guys from the side. A little bit easier to see, isn't it? Once you've got that taken care of, this is what you now want to do on the sides of the head. So for the second row of the side of the head, this side first, starting from the right hand side here, do a row of 4 light grey clay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next row, starting from the right hand side once again, you want to do 2 light grey clay. And then for the next row, another one to form this shape. Kind of like a J shape, a really fat, weird-looking J shape, but a J shape nonetheless. Hey, I'm not judgy. Once you've done that on the one side, you want to do the exact same thing on the opposite side here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these first 2 blocks here, 1, 2, and then the exact same on the next row, 1, 2. And once you've got that taken care of, all you have to do to complete the rest of the head is basically come to the back of the head, take each back corner of the head, and stack 2 rows of black stained clay on top of each one of these back 2 corners. Make sure that they match the height of the front of the head, connect them together, and then connect them to the front of the head, or the face of your Vikstarr statue. And once you've done that, you should end up with a big giant empty cube, like this. Once you have your cube, all you have to do is just completely fill in your cube with black stained clay, just as I'm doing now. So, I'm just completely filling in this entire area with black stained clay. Taking a little while, no faster way to do this. As I've said many times, I would really love it if Minecraft could implement like the paint can from Microsoft Paint, where it would just fill in an empty area with the colour of your choice. I would really appreciate if they could add that. I'm waiting on the feature, I'm sure they'll add it soon. They're never going to add that. But basically, what you want to end up with is something that should eventually look a little bit like this. But wait, there's more! I forgot one very small detail, guys. Come all the way around to the back of Vikstarr's head. You guys can see where we have this first initial row of the back of the head. Well, knock out these 4 middle blocks of that base row and replace them with black stained clay. And that is it. I kind of forgot about those. Whoops, my bad. Don't worry, fixed it. Once you've done that, once you've made that very small amendment, guess what? You should be left with your very own pretty nice looking Vikstarr statue. Let's take a look at this guy, shall we? That's a handsome looking statue. I do love you, Clay. So what you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like this. Very, very nice looking statue. I love Clay so much. I really do. It makes everything look better. I think that Vikstarr is perfectly made for a clay statue as well. It really does work out. I mean, just with the skin tone and the colors used in the head and the trousers and everything, it just works perfectly. It's fantastic. I love this thing. It's not the best designed statue, but it's a really nice looking statue. Oh, I will say with the legs, and I might put this in the comments, I'm well aware that Vikstarr doesn't have exactly purple trousers or purple pants or purple legs, whatever you want to say. I know that it's kind of like a darker shade of blue, but of course we don't have that. The darkest blue that we have access to is of course dark blue wool. But we had to use that for the top, and, you know, we wanted to have some separation from the legs to the shirt, so I decided to use purple instead. Kinda like blue, very similar. It uses two of the prime colours to make it, you know, it's blues in there, blue and red, or pink or orange or something. I can't remember how you make purple, but that is exactly what you want to end up with once you've fully completed your statue. And like I said, this is a nice looking statue. If I could make more statues just entirely out of clay, I think that not only you'd be happy, but I think I'd be happy as well. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.